Good afternoon and welcome to My Chamber TV. This is the Tarpon Springs edition.
Yes.
And you've done a great job.
Thank you. I'm
the
Gene
lineup.
Hungiville.
I
Did
know
you
you
that?
are Gene Hungiville, president of the Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce. Head dishwasher, bottle washer.
I was just going to say other duties as a side.
Sweeping, you know. But we're going to talk. You're going to actually interview me instead of me interviewing you, because we're going to save that to the end of the show, and we're going to talk about Area 52 Media Group.
Yeah, and you know what's really neat
What's that?
I get to talk to you instead of you jumping in and telling me everything. But you know what's going to happen?
I jump in and tell you there's.
You're going to tell me everything.
I had a guy do it yesterday. He's like, I was asking questions, and then he would start, and I would get where he's going. And I'd start saying, well, yeah, blah, 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 blah. He goes, well, if you'll let me finish and stop answering my questions. I'm like, okay, I like you already.
I don't
you
have
put me
any
in my
questions, but I don't have any questions for you because I really want to know what's going on with Area 52. When I bring on people in segments, and you'll see them in the next 4 segments because I've got some really good ones coming up.
Looking forward to those guys. I
have to talk about what it is that Area 52 delivers.
Right.
And one of the things that's interesting is they say, well, how many people watch this? And you said something, and only you can say it. I can't say it as well as you do.
It's okay. So the whole, what's your eyeballs?
Yeah.
What's your reach? Well, if you're hanging your hat on doing a show with us, or being on a show, and you expect our 1.2 million, 1.7 million people to reach out to you that day, that's not going to happen. It's just not.
Well, I think it's interesting that people always ask that.
Yeah, because marketing-wise, we've always been taught to ask these questions. What's your reach? How many eyeballs do you have? How many listeners? How many podcast downloads do you have? And that's good training. But unfortunately, you've bought into somebody else's program, and that's not good.
What they're not thinking about, and you have helped me with some of this, is it's like, wait a minute, you take this and you take it to your eyeballs, to your social media.
That's correct. So when you're on one of our shows, or even if you do a show, the first thing I tell you if you do a show with us, I don't guarantee you one eyeball, not one.
And people look at you in shock.
They do. They're like, how are you? Why are you saying that to me? And I have to say to them that it's about your content. Mm-hmm. If your content is really good, you're going to get really good views and you're going to get reactions. If you're coarse and you're off-putting, people are not going to. They'll watch you because they want to watch a train wreck. Everybody loves a train wreck. I'm just saying, right? But what ultimately it comes down to is what is your reach? Not my reach, your reach. I'm a content creator. Area 52 Media Group, we create inexpensive content that looks like you've paid a lot of money for.
Yes.
Period. So our quality is excellent for what you're paying for. And if you want to know what you're paying for, call me, because when I tell you, I'll put you back in your seat because you go, there's no way.
And you, every time you and I have this conversation, yep. I'm still running the numbers through my head. How do you deliver this?
Right.
Because it makes it so easy for me to talk to somebody and bring on good quality people. Because not everybody who's a chamber member gets to come on here.
Right. So when we tell people we have a reach of a little over 1.5 million views, that's just on our website. That's not our social media. That's not any of that stuff. It's strictly what's on the website, because that's where we push people to. Our social media is probably a little bit better, but it is what it is, right? We have a lot of people that watch in reruns. So if you come to us and say, I want to be on your station, we want you to be on our station. But you have to know how to use that video afterwards. You can't rely on just, because you're not paying me to market. Here's the difference.
That's a different issue.
You're not paying Area 52 TV to market. You're paying us to create your content. Now, if you want to pay us to do our market, which we are a marketing company, then that's fine. That's a whole different conversation. But ultimately, we're going to make you a beautiful video. And then you're going to take that video, and there's only 2 things you're going to do with it. You're going to put it all over your social media, and it's going to work for you, or you're going to shelve it. And then you're going to be one of those people in about 6 months go, well, I did it and never got anything from it, because you didn't use it.
And
you
that-
have to use what we make you. I'm giving you ammunition.
Yep.
And I call it ammunition.
Yeah, you're
for a
correct.
social media world. And that's everything. That is YouTube, that is LinkedIn, that is Twitter, that is Twitch, that is TikTok, that is, I don't know if I mentioned YouTube, but that is Vimeo. If it's a platform that you can put these videos on, then that's when you get, then if you get nothing from it, then we have to go, okay, we got to work on your reach. Because now it's not my reach, it's your reach.
And that's one of the things in the last year I've learned with the chamber is we've hired a social media person, Russ.
Right.
And you'll see him occasionally here substituting for me. But that made a huge difference as far as getting it out.
Yeah.
One of the first things that we do is we put our monthly Chamber TV segment out there on our social media. And I have watched us grow. I mean,
Yep.
we went from something like 2,500 to 6,000 in the last year.
It helps.
It really
so
does.
social media, for those that don't understand social media is not meant to be your website. It is meant to be a driver that pushes people back to your website. Does that make sense?
Okay, say that again. Now.
So social media is not supposed to take the place, any of it. I mean, I know people that just have Facebook.
I
I'm like,
agree.
no,
Yeah, I've seen
you
that.
need a website. You need a professional website. Social media is a driver. So you put all your clips, put the full clips on there, put the short clips on there, put an image on there, and all that social media is supposed to do is drive you back to your website where you actually take care of business.
Okay.
That's what it's for. And we've lost that. Everybody tries to make TikTok work for them, or just Facebook work for them, or just Instagram, because people are lazy and they don't want to go and build the website.
Well, I think it's cost sometimes, but it's also not that expensive because through
No.
GoDaddy,
You can
you
yeah.
and I put together the website for the Tarpon Springs Fine Arts
Yep.
Festival, and I was amazed
Yep.
at how
Simple.
reasonable
Simple.
priced it was.
Yep.
And simple. And I am not a techno wizard.
And I'm not saying go build a website that is like 25,000 pages, which I
No.
see it all the time. I'm like, that's crazy. You build a website that's got 5 pages. Actually, let's go 4 pages. It's your landing page, it's your content page, which is where your stuff, your contact us, and then your product. If you have those 4 or services, those 4 is all you ever need. 4 pages is one of the most powerful websites you can get. When you get
Because
these
it's-
people that got 100 pages, that's crazy. That's
Well,
too much.
you lose so much, but you're right, because when you created the one for the Fine Arts Festival with me, it was the basic 4 or 5 steps.
5 pages,
And
that's
it gets
it.
utilized constantly.
Yep.
And it's easy for me to update the dates on it and edit it. So yeah, people go because they don't understand.
They don't understand.
They go to, oh, well, TikTok's the newest thing, so therefore I've got to do that.
TikTok is outperforming YouTube by over 17-something%.
I know, I was reading the New York Times this
YouTube
morning
stock
about
went
that.
down. Alphabet stock went down because of it.
Yes.
Just saying.
It's one of those things where the next generation coming up, not Facebook, not Snapchat, they want something new and different,
Right.
and TikTok is now going to be the hot
It's
new
great,
thing.
and everybody uses TikTok and YouTube, and there's a funnel. It's basically to funnel back to where?
To the website.
Website, right.
Marvelous.
There you go. And so look, if you're looking to get a hold of us, area52mediagroup.com, or you can go to area52tv.com. They're both the same site. Or just call me in the studio, and I'll take care of you.
And
I
what's
can
your
enter
phone number?
727-297-6660. Oh, I know. I got Satan's number. Oh, my God. Hey, stick around. We got great guests this week. Oh, my gosh. Amazing. And then you know what? At the very end, the last segment, we're going to talk to Gina about all the chambers going on. We'll be right back after these messages.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Chamber TV. I'm Jean Hungiville with the Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce. I'm sorry that John talked so much in the first segment, but we now have some very interesting people here. I have Florida Real Estate with Andrea and Rich Rogers. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so
Thank you.
glad that you're here. You are relatively new chamber members, so I've really gotten to know you, not a whole lot, but pretty much over the course of the summer. Why are you in real estate? you have a new company. Talk a little bit about your metamorphosis from your previous life into this.
Okay. Well, actually, my parents came to Pinellas County in 1975 and opened up a real estate company where my mother did traditional sales and my father did property management. About 30 years later, I got in. So I joined them. Now, since then, I've raised 3 children, and our name has changed, and my family is no longer here. So now it's just me and my husband. So we're small, family-owned, and years and years of traditional sales, but lots and lots of new technology. So we're a
More
mix.
personal,
Yeah.
because it is family-owned rather than a
Yes.
big corporation.
Right.
But I think it's so neat that you basically grew up with your parents already setting the pattern down.
I did. And in fact, the funny thing is, even my grandmother was a realtor. So I
No
really
kidding.
am a third-generation realtor. So it's in my blood.
And from here, so you have watched Pinellas County and the surrounding area
Yes.
grow from
Yes,
the
we
time it was
have.
orange groves in Palm Harbor.
Yes, to cow pastures in Brandon, and that was so very far away. Today, we don't think twice about traveling to Apollo Beach, Riverview. It's,
Yeah.
we're just such a close little Tampa Bay town now.
I know. I'm running down to a meeting on Friday in Riverview,
Right.
and really had to take a look at how long does this really take depending on the time of the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
It is, absolutely. And, you think back to like the Boot Ranch,
Yes.
The boot was there, and it was just nothing but that ranch. And now you look at it today, and that's basically what's happening like in Riverview and everything
Yeah.
out east as well. So as properties got filled, everybody just kept going out east.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned Boot Ranch, because when I came here 5.5 years ago, that's where I lived, was in the Egret's Landing, which is there. And I was hearing the stories because I thought, what is Boot Ranch? And the boot that is over in the shopping center next to it, is that the original boot?
That's the original
That was there
boot.
during the
Yes.
ranch days.
That is so amazing. How many acres was that?
I don't know. I truly don't know. But, I grew up in the suburbs, and, everything looked massive to me, at that point. So it was really fun to watch that develop and see McMullen Booth Road go from a couple of lanes to where it is today. Just the changes are great.
Well, somebody was telling me from St. Petersburg that when they were kids, they came up when Boot Ranch was starting to get developed, and they would ride motorcycles on the dirt roads in between there.
Yep.
And I'm having trouble wrapping my head around that, and the orange groves and the old Florida.
Right.
So,
right.
So you have watched prices go from you can get a house for $25,000 to now you can't even get a blade of grass for that.
For less than $500,000. Yeah,
Exactly.
I know. The prices have skyrocketed, and we've all done very well. People still move to Florida. They're always going to want to come to Sunshine. So
Especially this time of the year when everybody wants to be us at 80 degrees all day
yes,
long.
all day long. The price of Sunshine has certainly gone up,
Yes.
but people are always going to transfer. They're always going to have more children and need a bigger home. Their children are going to move away. They're going to downsize. So there is no shortage of selling real estate in Pinellas County, or all of Florida, actually. But
Yeah. And you're not just doing Pinellas County.
No.
How far is your reach?
We will go through Hillsborough,
Okay.
up most of the way north on Pasco.
Okay.
So we cover a pretty big area. We go to St. Pete all the time. So maybe an hour anywhere.
Okay.
It's
And
for the
depending.
Tri-County region.
Okay. Now, Rich, are you selling, or you're doing something different with the company?
To keep our marriage sane, we stay in our lane.
Wait, I didn't know marriage was sane.
We're trying.
Okay.
Anyway, that, for keeping up appearances. So her lane is sales. She's awesome at it. She's one of the world's best closers. She's empathetic, and she knows what somebody wants, and she helps them dial that in and gets them into that property. I am more this. I enjoy technology. I love pay-per-click. I love search engine optimization. I love drone footage. I love 360 degrees. I love
Okay.
building websites, all that great stuff, getting eyeballs on the properties so that she can close them. So I do the back end.
So you do the stuff that makes you look like a princess.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
And that is terrific.
Isn't it?
Because what you're describing is all the stuff that has changed in the last 5-10 years,
Absolutely.
the drone footage is so important.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm looking at properties online and I'm seeing this overhead view of this is where it is in
Yep.
relationship to everything else. And then the reach of how do you get to people in Michigan? How do you get to people in New York?
Well, and that's really an art and a science, and it's a nice combination of good old hard work, getting the content out there, feeding it to Google, making sure that you're up there in the rankings, and then doing YouTube and making sure that you're in that search engine, because that's the second largest search engine in the world as well. So
Okay.
what we have to try to do, if somebody empowers us to either buy or sell, we want to make sure that we're doing everything possible for them. And that means that we have to be cutting edge, even I call it really bleeding edge technology to stay ahead of everything.
That's interesting. And how many agents do you have in your office?
Well, right now, we're down to just us.
Okay.
And about 4 years ago, we made a decision to just be on our own, just to be independent. So that's where we are now. In the last month and a half, we've decided that we're going to start to grow.
Okay.
So now we do want to expand. So
Marvelous.
we're ready for growth.
And part of that, too, is making sure that we have the training necessary for them. So
Yeah,
we
and
pull all that
that's
together.
so important
Right.
because, it is very competitive out there. There's a lot of people who
Yes.
just jump into real estate not realizing exactly what they're getting into. I remember probably about 90s, this happened again at some point, and people, I can get in, I can do this, and then, then they're all gone. And
Exactly.
people like you that have been with this for years,
Yeah,
decade
we really
after
do have to
decade.
work. We work
Yes.
every day.
Decade after decade.
Right.
Not only do you know the history of the properties, you also know the area,
Yes.
And in the short time that I've known you this summer, and it's summer just went like that.
Yeah, it did.
I can tell that you listen a lot, and that's
Well,
so
thank you.
important.
Every morning I get up and I research our market.
Okay.
What's new? What went under contract? Where is our immediate market? And so I feel like I have to start my day researching and studying so that I can go out and I can help somebody.
So you know what's going on in your
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
And your neighborhood is quite vast.
It is. It is. Yeah.
But the part that I find amazing, though, is the listing instead of just selling. You've hit it on the head. She matches people with what their dream is, what they want to do.
And you can't do that if you're not listening, because you have to be
Exactly.
empathetic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So, a lot, and you're right. People have that sales personality. Go, go, go. I can do this. I can do that. Nobody cares what you can do. What they care about is what is in their heart.
What is the old adage? They don't care how much you know till they know how much you care.
Right.
I can remember that from years and years ago. So,
Yeah.
And that comes through loud and clear. Where are you located?
We are in Tarpon Springs.
Okay.
And
We're just putting together a production studio so we can continue to be bleeding edge, and we're on Athens Street.
Okay.
We rented a suite in there, and I'm doing a lot of the same things that are here with the lights and the cameras and everything else to make sure that we can do our podcast, make sure that we can do our videos, and have that ready, set, and go so we can just...
Wow, that
put
really is
everything on.
cutting edge.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, if you are interested in talking to Andrea or Rich, what's your phone number, real quick?
727-492-3544.
It's been great to have both
Thank
of
you.
on
so
here. I know the time went way too fast because there's so much more we can talk about.
Thank you.
And stay tuned. We have some other new guests coming up very shortly.
Welcome back. Hey, I'm here. I'm here.
I know. We missed you last segment.
I'm pretty sure you did.
Not really.
So anyway, we're back. We have Adam Boudreaux from Tactical Roofing Company. Roofing is hard right now.
It is.
Let's talk about roofing. Let's talk about what you do.
So we do commercial residential roofing.
Okay.
We service the Tri-County area, so it's Pinellas, Pasco, and Hillsborough County.
Okay.
We
Oh,
that
reach
is
up
big.
towards Orlando, and right now we're actually down in Port Charlotte area doing some hurricane recovery
That
as
was
well.
my next question. Are you guys got a crew down there?
I had no intentions of going down there.
Right.
It's moths to a flame, right?
Yeah.
Lots of need, lots of roofing companies come in, but we have family down that area that suffered losses.
Okay.
So we went down to help, and while we were there, saw how great the need was, and we could not go.
I was
So-
down there
Right.
about 10 days ago, and just to go down for something on the east side of 75,
Yeah.
and even over that far over there,
Arcadia, in that
you
area.
still had a lot of damage out there.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine what it was like. I just keep hearing from my counterparts down there. Oh my gosh, it's just like a war zone.
Well, let's get back to the roofing side because I know
Yes.
that's important. So
Yep.
what types of roof do you handle?
So we do all types of roofing.
Okay.
So we do shingle, metal, tile. We do some synthetics as well, some of the newer materials that are coming out.
Oh, okay.
That are a combination. It's a metal shingle that has tile impregnated over the top. So, it's really, the industry is trying to respond to the needs of the insurance companies
Right.
that are causing shingles to expire sooner rather than later.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because I know that it's always been 20 years, 20 years, 20 years. And
Yes.
why has it changed to 10? Is it the materials that are different, or is it just
The
the
materials
risk?
are actually better. So the
Okay.
roofing companies warrant their roofs for 25 to 30 years
Okay.
on material warranty.
That's what I thought I remembered.
Insurance companies, because they're driven by statistics, they're driven by losses, they view it differently. And so go back to the hurricane. So there's roofs that are newer roofs that meet newer code, newer requirements that suffered no damage. Older roofs, let's say even 10, 12 years old, the roof peeled off because the materials and the technologies and the applications were different.
Wow.
So you have insurance companies that are trying to cause those 10, 12, 15-year-old roofs to expire sooner,
Okay.
so they get brought up to current code.
And when you have a metal roof, they say it's a lifetime roof, but really, what does that mean?
It means it's a 30-year roof.
30
Okay.
years.
Really, realistically. They may last 50, they may last 75,
Okay.
but they're going to be warranted by the manufacturers for 30 years.
Got
Okay.
it.
Even though even in other parts of the country, it's a lifetime warranty. Not Florida.
Yeah. Florida's unique. We have really intense UV rays that destroy
Yes.
materials.
Oh, that's
The
right.
salt air, believe it or not, you get salt air damage 5, 6, 7 miles inland. So you think about our area with the amount of salt water, the bay, that's all of every area we service
Right.
pretty much.
And it deteriorates it. I hadn't really thought about that, but
It
that
does.
is another
So
factor.
but you handle you even handle the new architectural style.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because that's a big thing now,
It is.
right?
Or the combination of doing shingle and metal. So you'll have a shingle roof with metal accents over a porch or
Oh, nice.
a portico. So combining those two, and so we have the expertise within our crews to take care of all of that.
No. Okay. Well, I know everybody's tired of hearing about this, but is there a lag on getting material now? Or
There is not.
Okay.
So material manufacturers have caught up. There was a lot of raw ingredient problems that was across the board
Okay.
throughout the country in
Right.
all different forms of
Okay.
manufacturing. A lot of that's catching up now. Tile is still an excessive lead time. You order flat tile. I've got a couple orders in right now. They're 36 to 52-week lead times.
Wow.
So they're still
So-
doing tile roofs. And
Oh,
the insurance
absolutely.
companies are really okay with that.
Not insurance companies, it's private individuals that are just paying because tile roofs expire too.
Okay.
The tile is decorative. The real waterproofing is the underlayment underneath that. And again, 20, 30 years ago, technology was not what it is today, application methods. So those do leak over time.
Okay.
And so a lot of owners elect to do repairs, and we can peel off the tile, repair the underlayment,
Okay.
and put it all back together. You don't even know that we were there.
So when you say underlayment,
Yes, sir.
is it a membrane or is it I remember back in the old days it was tar paper.
That was it. It was felt
Tar paper. All right. Yeah. Okay.
And so over time, again, the heat, it cooks all the asphalt out of the paper. So now all you have is
Paper.
crisp paper.
Paper.
Right.
Oh.
And so we remove that. The only thing that we use is a peel and stick. So it sticks to the deck. It's a secondary water barrier. We drive a nail through it. If we were to remove that nail, it self-heals. So you have a method of protecting your roof. So even if you lost the shingle,
Right.
the membrane is still there to protect your roof.
Okay.
The alternate method that's approved by code is you can use 2 layers of a synthetic. And so if you just think about, it's poor comparison, but if you think about wrapping 2 public shopping bags over your roof,
Right.
that's the underlayment. So you
Okay.
drive a nail through plastic, it's a hole in plastic.
Well, it's a hole.
So
Okay.
we do not do any synthetics. Not saying they're bad because they're still approved by the state. We just choose not to because we do a lifetime warranty on our workmanship.
Okay.
So if we install a roof, I'm going to stand behind it. If it leaks because of something that we did wrong, we're going to fix it. And I don't have that confidence in a synthetic underlayment, so I'm
Right.
not going to use those.
The word self-healing in itself is more reassuring than anything I've heard
Absolutely.
yet, because it self-heals. There's not a hole in it. You pull a nail out of synthetic, and guess what you got?
You got a hole.
Big old hole, right?
What about flat roofs? That's something you don't see very much of, but I do know that they can be problematic.
Flat roofs the technology is there because, again, manufacturers respond to the need. So a flat roof is designed to hold water for 72 hours. So code requires that they shed the water within 48 hours. So ponding, all that should dry off within 48 hours. There are a lot of lanais, patios, they're all flat roofs.
The Chamber building in Tarpon is a flat roof, the whole big building.
Well, and so in that case, when you get into commercial, completely different applications, they tend to drain towards roof drains, or they have scuppers at the edge that drain off. There's also different materials that we use on commercial roofs, really thick TPO it's a plastic, but it's, millimeters thick, and then we actually weld the seams together so it becomes a unanimous covering.
Wow.
So
They're a lot more expensive because of all that work, correct?
they are. And
Very
so
labor intensive, correct?
But at the same time, the materials are better, and so
Right.
those are more towards a 50-year roof. So commercial and residential really don't compare to each other very well.
Okay.
Because a business owner that owns, let's say, the mall, if I'm going to do 200,000 square feet, the economy of scale of just repeating the same thing over and over again saves money. So the materials are more expensive. There's a balance there.
Okay.
So, and for them, it's an investment.
It is a huge investment.
Right.
When 10 days ago when I was down in the Fort Myers area, I saw a lot of tarps
Yes.
that looked like they had been professionally put down. Is that because people are waiting for insurance companies, or because you're saying materials are not a problem? I was assuming it was because materials weren't coming in.
So there's a lag right now. I file a claim, I have a hole in my roof, immediately you put a tarp over it to protect your roof, protect further damage. And insurance companies actually pay to tarp while they wait to work out the claim. So you can go tarp a roof, and then 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it takes for your insurance company, while they work out what they're going to pay for, what they're not, you're stuck just waiting. So we have a lot of clients down there right now that are paying cash out of pocket to replace the roof, and then they'll hope to get reimbursed by insurance later with their insurance.
So we've only got a few seconds left. How do people get a hold of you?
So we are, phone is a great way, 727-404-8989, or you can go to our website, gettheroof.com.
Get the roof.
Get
I like that. That's awesome.
That's catchy.
Need a roof? Get the roof.
Get the roof.
That's
Yep.
it.
And when somebody comes, you take an estimate and then can start work, within a couple weeks?
So we generally start our jobs within 2 to 3 weeks. So
That's
we're a
terrific.
quick turnaround. If you need a roof, we're going to get on it really quick.
There you go. So if you need a roof, there's your man right there. Stick around. We got great more guests coming. I mean, really good. It's been you did a good job this month. We'll be right back after these messages. And you know what? After we're talking about roofs, we're going to talk about real estate again.
I know, but a different type of real estate.
Well, how can there be a different type of real estate, Gene? What do you mean? I don't know.
Different personality.
Scott Morris.
Personality. Nothing against everybody else.
Scott Morris, Coldwell Banker.
Caldwell Banker.
That's it.
So let's tell them, why are you different? Why are you different?
How am I different?
How are you different real estate
Well,
person?
look at me. I'm wearing muddy boots for the interview, and no, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I
He
think
gets out in the field.
I do. I am a hands-on realtor. I would absolutely say that. You know what I like to differentiate myself when you call my phone number? I'm the one that picks up. It's not an assistant. It's not, somebody else. And I try to put the fun in real estate without, on most personalities, when it's fun, there's something missing on the back of the house, like there's maybe paperwork or something. I like being accurate.
Yes,
and
somebody
fun.
did that to me one time. We were looking at a fixer-upper, and we were laughing going in, and it was a beautiful living room. We walked into the kitchen, and it looked like Beirut. There was no back wall, and it dropped off. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, what about like when you go in and you have a great experience with somebody, right, and you really like them?
Yes.
That's important, that rapport with your clients.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I don't want to do business with somebody I don't like.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
naturally. So when you get in there, it's great to be likable, but are you accurate with your information? Are
Yeah.
you a hard worker? Are you throwing off your work on somebody else?
That's a big deal.
Right.
That's a huge deal.
So I guess that's kind of what makes me different is I'm not only there from the start to the finish, there is no finish. The relationship continues. It's about the experience, right?
That is so
Right.
well put. There is
Yeah.
no finish because people never buy one house and just stay
Never.
in it.
Right.
And
Well,
Exactly.
some people do, but they're weird.
They're a little bit different.
They're a little different.
Those types.
Bless their heart.
Bless their hearts. But, we'll move on from those people.
John's making this a little difficult for us.
I know, that's what I do. Sorry.
But, the thing is, though, you're right. People buy, then they move up, they have kids, they move to another area, they get a different job, they maybe move to another section of this area.
Yep.
They get rid of their kids.
They get rid of their kids. Their kids
They
will
do.
fly
That's
the
the
coop.
goal in life.
Yeah.
Shoo, shoo, shoo,
Yeah,
shoo.
and so if you create a great relationship with people and you keep in touch with them, like you have nothing to worry about after that, right?
Yep.
I mean, honestly, all of my clients have become my friends.
Oh, that's
And people say
That's
that, but literally, just got a call last
I
night
get
from
it.
one of my clients, and he's going through a really rough patch. And he really didn't feel like he had anybody else to call, he said. And I mean, that's
a bud.
yeah, that's like why I got into real estate, right? Like, it's great finding every realtor. Oh, I wanted to find people homes.
Right.
Everybody's gonna say that, right? But honestly, it's about the relationship afterwards. I want people happy in my hometown. I'm here in Tarpon Springs. I came in 1979 as a baby. So full transparency, I was not born in Tarpon Springs, but I was a little teeny baby when we came down here.
Okay.
And honestly, I went to Tarpon Fundamental, Tarpon Middle, Tarpon High.
So you really know it, too.
Yeah, like all of them. So, and I left for 2.5 years for Sheridan, Wyoming, believe it or not.
Wyoming.
I know,
Sky country.
big difference from Tarpon Springs.
Yeah, baby.
But came back with my tail tucked between my legs. I just miss my hometown so much.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah,
Nothing's different. I mean, Tarpon is special.
yeah. Oh, 100%, 100%. I'll never leave. In fact, when my wife, we went to go visit her parents before our wedding, and we were coming back. We flew into Tampa, and as we were driving in, welcome to Tarpon Springs, she said, "It's good to be home."
Yes.
Right?
Isn't that,
She was born in Virginia, raised in Maryland, and she's calling Tarpon Springs.
it's good to be home.
Yep.
That's got to be the most satisfying thing as a realtor, when somebody says, oh, this feels like home, or this is good to be home.
And what you have to do is, if you have a buyer that's coming to Tarpon who's not as familiar, which is plenty of people, since COVID, everybody's working from home, they can live wherever they want.
Yep.
It's easy to fall in love with Tarpon Springs,
Oh,
right?
my gosh, yes.
So they get into Tarpon Springs, and you want to plug them into the fun stuff, And I have my go-to people, like my stores, and you can't just, and God forbid you mention your favorite restaurant. I'll never do that, because Tarpon Springs, every restaurant owner is going to get on your case if you don't mention their
Especially
restaurant.
if you live there.
And you can't walk around Tarpon without tripping over a great restaurant,
Nope,
right?
you can't.
Exactly.
So-
It's all about that.
Plug
Yes.
them into give them the boat ride, show them where the seafood place is, where
You make
plug
it their
them in.
hometown.
Make it their hometown.
Right.
Great. Ooh.
Make it their
Yeah,
hometown.
there you
Yeah.
go. You can
We're gonna
steal
make
this.
this
You just helped him out.
Yeah, this is going to make it your hometown. Great. How long have you been doing this?
I've been in real estate since 2003, on and off in sales. I did working agriculture. I actually started in Wyoming, believe it or not, with a Remax.
Okay.
And did that for 2.5 years, working agricultural, residential, commercial, and then I went into property management, which was a great experience. I mean, you want to talk about learning from other people's problems?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That was awesome.
That makes sense.
Yeah, property management sharpened the iron, so to speak. But I just missed working harder for myself and making more money. I'll be honest.
Okay.
In property management, the harder you work, the richer somebody else gets.
Exactly.
Whereas in
And it's all
sales,
problems.
yeah, exactly. And it's all problems, right? I got my own problems. I got
Yeah. But with real estate, when you're selling somebody a home,
Yeah.
it's not a house, it's a home.
Right.
For the most part.
Right.
It makes them feel good.
Yeah, it makes me feel good and everything. And
There you are in your
Oh,
professional
there I am.
look.
Look at that.
In your professional look.
So yeah, that's
Since
what you have to-
2003 in Florida, or that was in Wyoming?
Oh, that was in Wyoming. I came to Florida back in 2005-ish, and
We'll forgive those 2 years.
I know,
It's
yeah.
all
Just
good, man.
just
It's all
let,
good.
let- give me a pass on that.
All right, give you a pass.
But I've been selling real estate since then. I also previously had a music career. So I was a singer-songwriter and things like that before then, and that was fun. So
Starving artist.
starving artist, check me out on iTunes. Yeah.
So have you found that since I think it's been since January 1, it's gone back to the normal way of doing real estate now?
Yeah, typically, we had a seller seller's market, they would call for a while, where you're going up against 10, 11 offers at the same
not
time.
bidding wars. Oh.
Not so much anymore. I think it's the pendulum always swings one way or the other. People are worried about the rates, but if you look at since 1971, rates average
These are good rates.
17.74%.
The rates are not bad.
So they're back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, really, this is like we're in a typical rate right now, but marry the house, date the rate. You know what I mean? You
Yes,
can
sir.
always refi later.
That's correct.
You do a 2-1 buy down. There's so many different options that you can do now.
So you can still do the 2-1 buy down. You can still, ARM's still out there?
The ARMs are still out there, 2-1 buy down.
You can buy the rate down.
Yep. Now, ARMs in 2007 and 8 were different than ARMs.
Different
now.
arms.
Yeah.
Those are bad arms.
Yeah, those are bad arms.
We don't talk about those anymore.
Those are hurt arms. Yeah. But any lender nowadays can point you in the right direction.
How far outside of Tarpon do you work?
Well, I always tell myself I won't do this every year, but I sold in 7 counties last year. As north as Citrus, as south as Manatee County, and as east as Polk County. In fact, I sell a lot in Polk County. I don't know why, but it just
you're an ag
happens
guy.
I just know people, and sphere of influence is everything.
That side of the real estate, agricultural side of it is an interesting, just in itself. Right.
So much you can do with ag land. Anyway, we won't get into that now. But
We don't have that much time. We've only got a minute left.
Exactly. But you're the guy that will sit on the fence with a farmer and take a look at it and say, I think this is what I can do for you.
Absolutely. Watch out. The rattlesnakes are right there. And, you get in, you get your boots muddy, literally. You walk the property with them. My clients are going to buy this for a reason. And I just want to make sure that they're achieving that real estate goal no matter what it is.
Wow, that's awesome.
So the
How to get a hold
diversity-
of you? What's the best way?
Give me a call. I'll pick up my phone, 727-238-5366.
If they want to know a little bit about you, they can go to the video. You go to your website and watch this video.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about
absolutely.
me.
Yeah, that's right. You know it. This is going to be posted for sure. scott.sellsflorida.com.
That is-
Nice.
See, well,
I like that.
GettheRoof.com, and now it's what is
Scott Sells Florida.
it? God, you guys come up with these good ones.
I know.
I like that.
I like
It works.
All right, so look, if you're looking for a good realtor, especially if you're in the Tarpon Springs, that little Pasco area, or, that little Pinellas, Pasco, give them a
Absolutely.
call. We'll be right back after these messages. And welcome back. And you know what? Now we're going to talk about a little wellness, right?
I know.
Dean Flores from Morpheus. Well, I love the name, by the way. What does Morpheus Wellness do?
Well, Morpheus Wellness is a really unique concept. It was born out of a frustration of having to deal with the multiple changes of insurance companies. As a physical therapist of 20-something years, and our team, which is comprised of PTs and OTs as well, have gone through multiple Medicare changes where the frequencies of being able to see somebody in the home get less and less, or spread thin. So we would get frustrated because we could not provide that client, that patient, what we felt they needed for the amount of time. So we looked at each other, and Linda Parks, who is our co-owner and creator as well, and we looked at each other and we're like, how can we help folks after their hospital stay, after their outpatient visits are done, after their home health visits are done, and help them be able to be consistent and continuous with their exercising.
Yeah,
That's so important.
Right, and what else can we add? Not just the exercising, but how can we improve the overall mental, emotional, and physical wellness of that client as well?
So it's a holistic approach.
It is. We love that because everyone has a favorite thing to do.
Okay.
So, for example, I love to go to the beach. I love to paddleboard. I love to drive around in my Jeep. Those are my happy place activities.
Okay.
And when you're older, maybe you cannot get to the beach to shell like you used to because you had a stroke or you had a traumatic brain injury or you had pneumonia. You cannot get out there without help. So we decided to create a wellness coaching business where we can use our clinical skills as physical therapists and occupational therapists and be able to attach a holistic component to it where we create the program around what the client likes. We have had very unique situations in which we had a gentleman that had a stroke, and he's one of our favorite people in the world, and he had 4 horses and 3 acres.
Wow.
And he was told at a rehab hospital, please stop talking about your horses because this is never going to happen. And yes, you don't tell
that's
someone
a
like our team
challenge.
that. So
Yeah,
we
it's a
worked,
challenge to your team.
absolutely, and we worked with him for about 8 months. And he had a saddle inside his kitchen that we would continue working on getting him to get in and out, in
Nice.
addition to all the strengthening and what we were doing. And if you go to our website, you will see him after building a platform and getting mobile home steps. We got him back on his horse.
Nice.
And old New York cop, that smile on his face and his family was what drives Morpheus Wellness to do what we do, because we don't have a limit. That's the difference between a private pay, physical therapist, or a physical therapist that has to establish short and long-term goals and do a discharge, versus a wellness coach that you can continue. Our clients stay with us between 8 months and going on 3 years.
Because you put together an entire plan that goes beyond just, here's what the doctor says you need, here's the insurance company's coverage. You're putting together, how do we get your life back?
Absolutely. And to be able to implement that holistic aspect. And when we first started, we would do just your stretching and your music component on the holistics. Now we're doing mindfulness activities. We're getting folks to be able to take a deep breath, close their eyes, and figure out where not only they are physically in space, but emotionally. Focus on breathing, being able to teach the body how to breathe in deep and be able to get the amount of oxygen you need to get into a state of relaxation. We do things like grounding. We will take your shoes off, get you standing in the grass, and get you connected to that earth energy, and many other things where we can, because that anxiety and depression that we have, and that stress of work and finances, relationships, those things could be hidden from the physical therapist or the wellness coach that goes there and just say, do these exercises and see you later.
Yeah,
so
because it's compartmentalizing, and you look at it as the whole body.
Absolutely. It's phenomenal. It's such a great combination.
You were talking about sleep and how that impacts all of this as well before we went on the air. Talk a little bit about that. I found that very something that I could relate to very easily.
Right, many of us, and I, preach to the choir. Our name, Morpheus Wellness, came from our initial business venture, which was sleep science coaching. So I'm a certified sleep science coach, and several other of our coaches are as well. And we realized after doing the studies that 75% of us have sleep abnormalities, and we like to think that I hate to say that we think that that is the norm and we're just going to have them and that's what we're going to deal with. No, there are many ways that you can fix that. So when we first started, we were just focusing on sleep science coaching and trying to see if we can improve the sleep of folks. There was, and I'll mention this real quick, there was a study that came out a long time ago that scientists realized that after getting to the deep part of sleep, that deep stage where you get to sleep, they realized that the brain gets rinsed by cerebrospinal fluid, right? So it's almost like a rinse, like when you're done with the laundry, it rinses, and it refreshes. Once you're done categorizing all your thoughts and your body's about to go into shutdown mode, the brain rinses. So there was another scientist that said, hey, why don't we inject something called beta amyloid proteins in there and see if that rinse will take them out? And it actually did. So do you know what a beta amyloid protein is?
No, I don't.
It's basically what causes Alzheimer's.
Wow.
So the study showed that getting a good night's sleep consistently can lower the chances of you getting Alzheimer's by almost 45%.
That's fascinating.
It is fascinating, and it is incredible how many of us can make very small changes that you don't know about. So bringing that back around to Morpheus Wellness, we went from Morpheus Sleep Consulting to Morpheus Wellness, and we added that component. And then once we saw the population that we have been working with and addressing, We paired the in sleep coaching with incontinence. So now we have a program that not only does a sleep assessment, but we offer a pelvic floor program at the same time to strengthen the pelvic floor, so you can go from maybe 5 to 6 times to maybe once or twice a night. So great outcomes, better sleep, less chances of falling during the day because you're groggy.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm loving this.
You got to come and do a bigger, longer show with me. So how do people get a hold of you?
www.morpheuswellness.com. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on LinkedIn as well. You know, like I said, it is a great way to be able to continue your exercises that maybe your physical therapist gave you, and subscribe to like the monthly package. And like I said, between 8 months and 3 years of keeping your family members out of the hospital.
And you're not a big corporation. You are a very personal company.
There are 9 of us, and we are in multiple counties, and we only hire lunatics like me. Just straight up out of the box, passionate coaches.
And that's the thing I'm hearing here. I mean, you're passionate about people's health, and not just health, but the whole package, emotional health as well as physical health.
Absolutely.
That's really awesome.
That's
it is
really good.
Oh, we absolutely love it. I started this business at 50, and it's been the best thing I've ever done.
I got to start coming to see you. Hey, stick around. We're going to come back. We're going to talk to Gene about what's going on in this wonderful Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You know what? And we saved the best for last. We've got Gene, Hungiville, president of the Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce. You guys have got a lot going on.
We have got a lot going on.
Oh my gosh, you have a lot going on.
These lights are getting to you.
And I'll tell you what, I'm finally getting my emails from Russ about everything going.
Oh.
I'm like, good Lord, dude. Good for you, man.
Yep, something every single week. It's like the normal stuff is we have breakfast on Mondays, breakfast on the first and third Wednesdays. And the one at the chamber has grown, the first to the point where I said if we get 20 people in the first 2 months, I would start cooking breakfast. Guess what?
You're cooking breakfast?
I had to cook breakfast this morning.
Oh my God.
I had to get up and cook breakfast this morning.
See, if you
Now,
do it on
I did a casserole.
if you would do it other than a Wednesday, I would help.
Well, it's one of those things where I did a casserole last night, put it in the oven, sausage and eggs and all the other good stuff.
Yeah, you're making me hungry. Stop.
Really, really good stuff. So anyway, but that's what's fun, is people go, all right. Oh, and she can cook too.
There you go.
Oh, she could talk, she could cook. And then the third of the month, we're at Johnny Grits, the third Wednesday.
Gotcha.
Second Wednesday of the month, we were used to doing lunch. We moved it back to Monday because people can drop. And every other one's, we've got a speaker. We've had some good speakers come
Have
in.
you?
And every other one is networking. We move it around to different restaurants. And then the fourth Wednesday of the month, happy hour. And last week, we had the second annual Chamber Halloween happy hour.
What?
I was Cleopatra,
Oh,
and with tattoos and everything.
tattoos and everything.
It was
all
fun.
tatted up.
It was fun. It was fun. Russ was Elvis again, danced on the counter on the bar. I was like,
Oh,
oh
my.
my gosh. We had 35 people at that, which
Wow.
it was at Wine on the Docks down in, the new owner down at the docks wanted to do this, had a band there, had just food. It was phenomenal. So the first year we were at Johnny Grits, we weren't sure if it was going to make it. The second year it's like, oh no, this is becoming a staple. We had people coming in from Tampa
What?
that are chamber members because they were like, oh, we got to go do this. We got to do this. It was It was good. It was
That's awesome.
good stuff.
Awesome.
We did not take much video of it because a lot of the stuff needed to stay there.
Oh, what happens at the event stays at the events.
Well, sometimes, but the Halloween party is going to become really, oh my goodness.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Can have a Halloween party here if you want. We'd have to put the cameras and stuff away, but
Anyway, it was fun. So we're now moving on to other good stuff. I need to thank our corporate sponsors.
Absolutely.
Because
Those
our
folks are
corporate
awesome.
sponsors, our platinum one is Advent Health North Pinellas. Thank you so much. You guys really rock. We are going to be talking to the orthodox next month, looking at, they're coming, Advent Health comes on quarterly, and so we've got all that good stuff going on. So, silver, Ameriprise Financial and Peterson, and also Edward Jones, Rich Lundahl. In addition, we've got Flagship Bank and Sandbar Architecture as our silver sponsors. So those are new in the last couple of
Nice.
months. So good stuff.
good
Thank you.
people.
Thank you so much for everybody. 89 new members since the first of the year.
Oh,
It's
wow.
growing like
You're
crazy.
going to hit your 100?
Oh, yeah.
You're going to hit your 100.
Yeah, we're now saying, can we hit it by Thanksgiving?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Now,
Nothing like putting a deadline in there to make you really work harder, right?
well, and the thing of it is, most of this is not an ask. Most of this is stuff that
Right.
people will walk in the door. They see our social media, and when you were talking about on the first segment, your reach, your eyeballs,
Mm-hmm.
having Russ come on board and helping put some of that stuff out, putting it out better and faster than I could do it,
Right.
Has really made a huge difference. My board, those of you that remember at the beginning of the year, set a goal of 50 new members this year because we were coming out of the pandemic and the chamber was really, getting rolling again. We hit those 50 members before the first 6 months. We hit it the third week in June. So we just went, let's double this. So it's 100 by the end of the year. And we are now at 89 new members since January. We've only asked for a couple of them. The rest of them have walked
That's
in the door.
awesome.
We're
Well, if I
growing-
get my wife to join her company, that would be 90.
that would be fabulous.
hit 90.
Big 90? Yes. We have some interesting things going on with some of the businesses, and I've written a couple of them down.
All right, let's talk about them.
Alati, Greek restaurant. It's been on the docks for a long time. It's when you first come in on the left. Changed ownerships. The owner retired,
Oh,
sold it
good for him.
to a new owner who has moved here from Colorado. Not been in the restaurant business before, but he's got it going on. He spent some time in the last year working with somebody in Colorado in the restaurant business, planning ahead.
Right.
He is going to be all about let's getting in the community and teaching people what it's like to go to a Greek sort of nightclub, sort of restaurant. It's going to be fun. Really
Nice.
fun. They joined last week, so that's a new
okay.
one. We also have a little restaurant. For those of you that are in Tarpon, it was Spiro's for a long time. It's right next to the golf course, Tarpon Springs Public Golf Course. It was Spiro's, then it was something else, then it was something else, and then it became Calamera. And Calamera was a Greek owner, Christo, and he ended up deciding that maybe he would sell it after he worked on it for about 3 months and take off for Greece for a little bit. The former owner of Flapjacks, Andy, picked it up, and he knows what he's doing. It's all about the breakfast. People know what they want for their eggs.
That
and you've
was a
got-
hard thing in Tarpon for a long time on the docks, is to get a breakfast.
Well, this is right next to the golf course, right near the hospital. Calamera
Oh, yeah, I know
is
where that's at.
about to change its name at the end of this week
Uh-oh.
to Andy's Hotcakes.
Andy's hotcakes.
And they've got a little guy who is standing out there.
With
Remember
hotcakes.
Bob's Big Boy?
I do.
Well, it's not quite that, but it's the same concept.
Yeah.
But it's not, it'll have some Greek things on there.
Got
but it's
it.
going to be Andy's Hotcakes. Now, you think about that. Does that scream breakfast? Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Fluffy hotcakes.
Yep.
Yep. So the new owners, it's 3 guys. They've all been in the restaurant business forever. It's like this totally wonderfully dysfunctional marriage. And you go in there. We've had 2 chamber meetings in there. One was an ambassador's lunch last week. The other was we did the monthly luncheon when they first did this. And it's great. The food is so good.
Good.
And the
Love
atmosphere-
good food.
Waitresses, they're not kids. They're waitresses who are seasoned, funny sense of humor. I can't repeat a couple of them because I blushed. That's what makes a place.
Right. It is.
Yeah,
It is.
We have another one that's coming up in another week. We have a ribbon cutting at one that I've talked about a little bit. Do you remember where the old Publix was in Tarpon on alternate 19?
I do.
Okay, or Jerk House for those of you that have not been in Tarpon for a long time. Macoma Boutique. It's a women's clothing boutique. It's not brand new. It's been online for the last 5 years. It's a $5 million company. And this woman who has it says it's all about looking at what do women want, what is your style, how can I find it for you when I'm out shopping, as well as here's some of the opportunities out there. And it's all about service. She's decided that she really misses not having the hands-on with people. So what she's done is she bought the building where the old Publix or the Jerk House used to be. That's going to be her warehouse.
That
And
used to be
then-
the old pawn shop.
Yes, it did.
Everybody knows it for the old pawn shop.
Old pawn shop. Okay.
Only us old people know it was Publix, but yes, that was the pawn
Well,
shop.
somebody told me. I don't remember.
Yeah, I know, but it was
Yeah.
a pawn shop.
Pawn
And,
shop.
and Mr. Bill's used to be the place where the jerk cut was, because that was the best donuts and hamburger you get in Tarpon
Well,
Springs.
now it's going to be some of the best clothing that you can get that's very reasonable, and that's going to be the warehouse. And they've completely changed it. It's black and white. It's really cool. I can't wait. It's on Saturday, so stay tuned. And trip to Greece.
Got 15 seconds, better get it.
Still working on that trip to Greece. It's filling up fast. If you are, there you go, $3,400 all inclusive. Give us a call at the Chambers, 727-937-6109, and we will hook you up with an application.
Thank you for watching this week. We appreciate it. We know there's a ton out there that you can be watching. Not us, but you're sticking down with us. We appreciate that. Gene from the Tarpon Springs Chamber of Commerce, John from My Chamber TV. We'll see everybody next week.